In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I took this brand new trading coach from zero with just an Instagram following all the way to his first 139k USD in cash collected. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. I can literally see it through the camera. You're probably thinking, a lot of people say this. A lot of people have these claims of, I made some guy a million in like one day. How do I trust you? Like, do I actually know that you've actually done this? That's why I'm just going to get out of the way with. We'll just show some proof so you can start trusting me until the end of the video. So as you can see on the screen, right, this was from July. Let me see the pens on July the 1st all the way to July the 29th, 2025. And this tracker tracks 139k, well, pretty much 140k. It probably should have said that for the video. Contracted of 209k, cash per call taken of 1.4k, average order value 3.5, closing rate of 36%, which is juicy. And then 33 deals closed, right? So here's all the proof you need, right? This is the data tracker that I use for the business. Now, the issue was this guy, AJ, he had a following. He had the eyeballs. What he didn't have is a clear, simple acquisition process to turn those eyeballs into sales calls, into paying clients. And that's essentially what I do with coaches, consultants, and agencies. I essentially build out a simple acquisition process to scale them past 50 to 100k a month. Now, they could either have a decent following or they don't even need to have a decent following. They could have 3,000 plus followers. As long as you've had a couple clients in the past pay, you've got a proven offer, then you can scale, right? You can scale using this acquisition system. In this video, I'm just going to go through the 3-step process that allowed me to do this, right? I spoke with AJ at the very start of this launch, and I was asking him what his goals were. He wanted freedom, leverage, and consistency. Most coaching businesses, they don't have any of these. They don't have leverage, they don't have consistency, and they don't have freedom. And because they don't have a consistent acquisition process, I keep on going on about this. So the first things first is the actual acquisition system itself. We wanted to make sure that we could convert AJ's following into sales calls and therefore into paying clients, right? So how can we actually do this? It's really a 3-step process that we go through every single client with. First of all, it's top of funnel. Second of all, it's setting system. Third of all, closing system. What does this actually mean though, right? It's all wishy-washy words if you don't explain it. First things first is the top of funnel. You've got to make sure, and we wanted to make sure with this client that everyone in his following or everyone that was going to come through his content and grow his following knew exactly what he did, right? Because if you don't have an optimized profile, which AJ didn't have, you're not going to be able to direct them to the place you want to direct them to. For example, most people go to Instagram to scroll to get dopamine. No one really comes to learn, right? You go to YouTube for that. So to build trust, what we wanted to make sure is that AJ's Instagram was optimized to the point where every single person who came onto his Instagram was able to be redirected through YouTube. Right? This is through the pin reel, it's through story sequences, it's through a bunch of different mediums that we actually redirect to YouTube lead magnets as well, right? Another thing is we want to redirect to something we own, right? The VSL on our own landing page. So we don't always have to build out VSLs with our clients. We tend to do it just on YouTube, but in this case, we built out a VSL on a different platform as well. Also, as you can see with the optimization, just a simple keyword, which is standard, what you do, directing it to a certain CTA to get people to actually reach out to the DMs. Okay, that paired with a few pin reels that were specifically strategically made to actually build trust and show about the story and redirect to YouTube, that's the top of funnel side of things. Now, usually we run and script ads for our clients, right? But in this case, he had the following, okay? That's the top of funnel side of things, making sure all of the traffic has a way to get into the DMs, okay? And knows exactly what you do and can build trust with you. Now, the second thing we did to make sure we turned AJ's following into actual sales calls was the setting system, okay? This system, we essentially implemented an appointment setter to convert the eyeballs into sales calls, right? And how we did this is initially through story sequences, right? To make sure that people can reach out with a keyword, invoked enough emotion to actually reach out and get into the DM so the appointment setters can just handle the rest, right? Let's go back to his goals. He wanted consistency and freedom. By building this setting system, AJ could be out, he could be traveling, which he was, an appointment setter would be consistently converting those eyeballs, reaching out to following, reaching out to likes, and making sure we convert that into sales calls, which is what we want. We want that consistency. We also implemented pre-handling workflows. These pre-handling workflows made sure that once we book in the sales call, that these people are being nurtured, right? Whether it be in the automations, in Go High Level or Zapier, or with the actual appointment setter itself. And what we like to do is create objection handling content based on all the objections that come up in sales calls to make sure if it comes up in the appointment setting process, we can send it over. We can also send it over in the email flow as well. Like the goal is to make sure that people come up to calls ready to buy, right? Ready to close, they build the trust, all objection handles, no other issues. And the way we do that is through the pre-handling workflows, right? That's the top of funnel and the setting system. Lastly is the closing system. AJ didn't want to be on calls all day. Some of our clients are, some of our clients aren't. So what we wanted to do is just build leverage and replace himself in calls. So we pretty much hired a closer, built out a follow-up system, and optimized the sales process so it was seamless, right? When I was the closer, I closed probably 30, 40% of all my deals from follow-up. So if we didn't have that follow-up system, we probably wouldn't have collected 139K, right? Really, really important part. Now, this is a very vague overview of the acquisition system. Probably take a lot of time to actually go through it all, but this is what we actually do for our clients, funnily enough. So second part after the acquisition system is the talent. Now, talent is really, really, really important because it's the difference between hiring a closer or a setter and them taking 4 weeks to get up to KPIs, getting up to a decent close rate, as opposed to a week, week and a half, if that. Okay. And a lot of coaches and consultants, when they get to a point where maybe they want to get more leads or they want to get more sales calls or they want to close more sales calls, they think I can just post on my story, I'm hiring a closer, right? I'm hiring an appointment setter. Loads of people apply, but they're not the right people, right? They're people who don't have much experience because the people who have experience with good quality, they don't reply from a story. They're in networks. They're referred to. This is exactly why we source them a closer and an appointment setter through our internal pipelines that pretty much filter out from top tier closer, advanced closer, intermediate closer, beginner closer. Typically with most clients, we don't use the beginning closers. Poor guys. So we hired from our pipeline, but that's half the battle. We wanted to make sure that they were actually getting up to KPIs, not wasting calls, not wasting sets as quick as possible. The way we do that is through onboarding, right? Daily training, daily up ramp, and making sure we go over the offer and an onboarding pack with absolutely everything included. The AI sales call reviewer, important links, who are the leads, post and pre-call sales call process, sales pitch, pitch deck, program details, and pricing. We onboarded them to the tech and we made sure that they had everything they needed in terms of training, in terms of tech, in terms of information to be able to crush it on the offer. So yeah, we created the sales pitch, the sales process, onboarded the closers and setters so that we can have the best possible start they could have. All right. The last part is the data. All right. So far, we've got the acquisition system in place. We've got the talent in place, right? Now we need to make sure that we can track data and know exactly what moves that we need to make based on certain occurrences in the business. What do I mean by this? Right? So if a problem occurs in a business, how are you going to know where the problem comes from, what the problem is? Okay. And that's exactly why we have all these metrics tracked. Cancel calls, no shows, live call count, offer rate, show rate, cancel rate, offers made count. Like all of these metrics, average order value, cash per call taken, they can all tell us what is going on wrong in the business. If you don't track, you don't know any of these things. So you're going to react based off emotion. We made sure we tracked all this data so that anything that comes up, we can respond with data. We can actually implement and make changes based on data. So that's really it. It's exactly how we optimize this business and got it to its first 139K, all through a clear acquisition process, top of funnel, setters, closers, good talent, good onboarding, and tracking data. Now, if you are a coach, consultant, or you run an agency or an info product business, and you really want to get out of the weeds, you want to really get to that next level, book more sales calls and close more of those calls and get that freedom, leverage, and consistency, then I have something for you. Either book in a call below and we can chat, or you can just reach out to me on Instagram and message me the word TSC or close. I forgot what the CTA is on my Instagram anymore. But yeah, have a beautiful rest of the day. If you need anything, pop me a message on Instagram. Let's go.